Welcome to Houston for the round of 32 at the 2026 World Cup. The math changes tonight. The safety net of point accumulation in the group stage is gone. Only one team survives the next 90 minutes. Stepping onto the pitch under these conditions are five-time champions Brazil, facing a highly disciplined Japan squad. A straight knockout match forces both managers to abandon long-term tournament preservation. The strategy narrows entirely to immediate survival. The mainstream Dime Mariev leans into a potential upset, fueled by Japan's 10-game unbeaten run and 3-2 victory over Brazil in the 2025 Karen Cup. Even standard projection models are feeding this storyline, giving the Samurai Blue a nearly 20% chance to pull off the win in regulation. This split-screen comparison tells a different story. Based on pure team ELO ratings, Brazil commands a dominant 2009 compared to Japan's 1910. But Japan's reading fractures when you update the math with the latest roster data. Betting on the romantic underdog story right now means ignoring the stark math of a devastating injury crisis. Japan has lost 4 structural pillars of their transition offense. Karo Mitoma, Takafusa Kubo, Takumi Minamino, and captain Wataru Endo are all sidelined. Brazil has their own casualties, missing serious threats on the right flank, with Rodrigo out from an ACL tear and Rafinha sidelined by a hamstring injury. This decision tree maps the fallout. Without those core playmakers to drive the ball forward, Japan's expected goals metric plummets to 0.85. That forces a strict tactical adjustment. Japan must abandon their high transition system, compressing all 11 players into a deep defensive low block. Trading speed for a wall of bodies is the only path to stay in this tournament. Brazil's response to missing right wingers is straightforward. Funnel the offense heavily down the left flank through Vinicius. This overhead pitch heat map shows how that plays out. Vinicius's attack vectors collide directly into a dense defensive wall anchored by Hiroki Ito. A low block denies Vinicius open space, but guarantees Brazil holds constant possession right on the edge of the Japanese penalty box. If Japan cheats their formation left to double-team Vinicius, they open a gap in the center channel, leaving striker Matheus Cunha isolated one-on-one. This specific tactical bottleneck guarantees a grueling, low-event siege, completely defying the expectations of casual viewers waiting for a high-scoring shootout. Test this siege by running the matchup through a Monte Carlo simulation over 10,000 iterations. The critical difference here is that this model explicitly removes the injured players from both rosters, rather than relying on historical team averages. Once the missing personnel are accounted for, Brazil's 90-minute win probability spikes to 61.4%. Bettors using standard models for a Japanese upset get an inaccurate read on Brazil's true advantage. Let's translate that tactical data into actionable value in the betting markets. This quadrant chart plots the risk versus probable payout specifically for the over-under goals market. The simulation aggressively pulls toward a low-scoring game, placing under 2.5 goals in the optimal quadrant 50.7% of the time. The two most likely scorelines align perfectly with this data, a 2-0 Brazil win sitting at 13.2% probability, followed by a 1-0 win at 12.1%. Pundits pushing the over because Brazil scored 3 goals against Scotland are ignoring the reality of trying to break down a compressed knockout round defense. The anytime goal scorer market offers a similar map for deploying capital. Vinicius Jr. holds the highest volume and the safest probability at 44.5%, but the sportsbooks have priced his odds to reflect that exact safety. The higher yield value sits with Matheus Cunha at 34%. He directly benefits from the defensive gravity pulling toward the left wing. This matchup is for the analytical optimizer, not the casual fan hunting for an end-to-end spectacle. The data points to a low-scoring Brazil victory, relying on their attacking depth to apply relentless pressure until an exhausted, depleted Japanese line cracks.